The hidden millionaire formula no one teaches at school. How ordinary people quietly build extraordinary wealth without high salaries or lucky breaks. Introduction: The big lie about wealth. For most of your life, you were taught a simple story about money. Study hard. Get good grades. Find a stable job. Work for 40 years. Then retire if you're lucky. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This system was never designed to make you rich. It was designed to make you useful. Schools teach obedience, not ownership. They teach memorization, not money. They teach how to follow rules, not how to bend time, compound value, or leverage systems. And yet, every year, millions of people with average intelligence, average jobs, and average beginnings quietly become millionaires. No lottery. No viral startup. No inheritance. So how do they do it? This is the hidden millionaire formula, the one no teacher, no textbook, and no career counselor ever explains. Part 1: Why most people never become rich. Let's start with why most people fail. It's not laziness. It's not stupidity. And it's not bad luck. It's conditioning. From childhood, people are trained to think in linear income. Work, get paid. Stop working, right arrow, income stops. This mindset creates 3 invisible traps. Trap 1: Trading time for money. If your income depends only on hours worked, you will always be limited by time. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can't outwork that. Trap 2: Lifestyle inflation. As income rises, expenses rise faster. More money comes in but none stays. Trap 3: Fear of risk. School rewards playing safe. Wealth rewards calculated risk. Millionaires aren't reckless. They are strategic. Part 2: The real definition of a millionaire. Here's something shocking. Most millionaires don't feel rich. They don't drive supercars. They don't wear designer brands. They don't flex on social media. In fact, many look boring. Why? Because real wealth is not income. Real wealth is ownership plus time plus compounding. A millionaire is someone who owns assets, lets time work for them, reinvests consistently. Not someone with a big paycheck. Part 3: The hidden formula, the 5 pillars. Pillar 1: Ordinary income, extraordinary discipline. Most millionaires did not start rich. Teachers, drivers, clerks, engineers, nurses, government employees. What made the difference? They treated money like a tool, not a reward. They paid themselves first. They saved before spending. They lived below their means even when they didn't have to. Discipline beats income every time. Pillar 2: Consistency over intensity. Most people try to get rich fast. Millionaires try to get rich sure. They invest small amounts. Monthly. Automatically. Without emotion. They don't wait for the perfect time. They understand this truth. Time in the market beats timing the market. 10 years of boring consistency beats 1 year of extreme hustle. Pillar 3: Compounding, the invisible engine. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. Why? Because compounding is slow at first. Then unstoppable. Year 1, nothing exciting. Year 5, still boring. Year 10, momentum. Year 20, explosion. Most people quit before compounding begins. Millionaires stay. Pillar 4: OWNING systems, not just working in them. Rich people don't just earn money. They own pieces of systems. Examples: stocks owning companies, real estate owning space, businesses owning processes, intellectual property owning ideas. Even small ownership beats zero ownership. You don't need to own everything. You just need to own something. Pillar 5: Emotional control. This is the most ignored pillar. Markets go up. Markets crash. People panic. Millionaires stay calm. They buy when others are afraid. They hold when others sell. They think in decades, not months. Wealth is as much psychology as math. Part 4: Why school never teaches this. Ask yourself, did school teach investing? Did school teach tax efficiency? Did school teach asset allocation? No. Because the system prepares employees, not owners. This isn't a conspiracy. It's structure. Schools are funded by systems that need workers. Wealth education is learned at home, through mentors, through mistakes, through self-education. Part 5: The Grandma Effect Real-Life Pattern. Here's a common story. An ordinary woman. Average job. No big promotions. No business. She saved consistently. Bought one small property. Invested in safe assets. Avoided debt. Stayed patient. After 30-40 years. Net worth millionaire. Not flashy. Not famous. But free. This is how most millionaires are made. Part 6: Why Social Media Lies About Wealth. Social media shows fast money, flashy lifestyles, overnight success. Real wealth looks like repetition, boredom, patience, quiet growth. The loud ones sell courses. The quiet ones own assets. Part 7: How you can apply this today. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a starting point. Track every expense. Create automatic saving. Invest consistently. Avoid bad debt. Increase skills slowly. Stay patient. Wealth is built in silence. Part 8: The Final Truth. The hidden millionaire formula isn't secret because it's complex. It's secret because it's boring. People ignore boring paths. But boring paths create freedom. In the end, wealth isn't about money. It's about control over time, freedom of choice, peace of mind. And that, from
Is the
paycheck
real
to power,
reward.
how normal people accidentally become rich. The slow, invisible journey from salary dependence to real financial power. This is written in a serious storytelling plus psychological style, perfect for YouTube documentaries, podcasts, or narration videos. Intro: The strange truth about wealth. Most people believe wealth is intentional. They think rich people plan to become rich. They imagine secret strategies, genius IQs, or lucky moments. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most wealthy people didn't plan to become rich. They drifted into it slowly, accidentally, and quietly. They didn't wake up one day and say, "I will be a millionaire." They simply made a few small decisions, then repeated them for decades. And while others chased fast money, these people stayed invisible. This is the story of how normal people move from paycheck to power without realizing it until it's already happened. Part 1: The Paycheck Trap. A paycheck feels safe. Every month, money arrives. Bills are paid. Life continues. This routine creates comfort. But comfort hides danger. Because a paycheck creates dependency. You don't own your income. You rent it from your employer. The moment you stop working, income stops. Power disappears. Fear begins. Most people live like this for 40 years. Not because they want to, but because they were never shown another option. Part 2: Why normal people never aim for riches. Here's something rarely discussed. Most normal people don't want to be rich. They want stability, respect, security, a peaceful life. And that's exactly why some of them accidentally become wealthy. They don't chase risky shortcuts. They don't gamble everything. They don't inflate their lifestyle. They focus on control, not luxury. Part 3: The First Accident: Spending Less Than They Earn. This is where the journey begins. Not with investing, not with business, but with restraint. While others upgrade cars, phones, houses, vacations, these people pause. They ask, "Do I really need this?" They don't feel deprived. They feel intentional. This one habit creates surplus. And surplus creates options. Part 4: The Second Accident: Saving Without a Goal. Here's the strange part. Most accidental millionaires didn't save for something specific. They just saved. They didn't know what they'd use the money for, they only knew one thing. I don't want to be desperate. Savings create psychological power. When you have savings, you negotiate better. You fear less. You think longer term. Power starts in the mind. Part 5: The Third Accident: Time passes. This is where most people fail. They save for a year, then quit. But accidental wealth builders don't stop. They save for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Time begins doing something magical. Money starts growing on its own. This is when people say they got lucky. But luck is just patience that survived boredom. Part 6, DISCOVRING, Investing BY Necessity. Most people imagine investors as aggressive risk takers. Reality. Most accidental investors start because their savings sit idle. Inflation scares them. A friend mentions investing. A bank suggests options. They start small. Very small. They don't understand everything, they learn slowly, they make mistakes. But they stay invested. That's the key difference. Part 7, the shift from income to assets. Here's the moment everything changes. One day they notice, my money made money without me. This realization is dangerous, in a good way. They stop thinking, how much do I earn? They start thinking, what do I own? Assets replace effort, ownership replaces exhaustion. This is the birth of power. Part 8, why they don't feel rich yet. Here's the irony. Even after years of progress, they still feel normal. Same job, same routines, same habits. But behind the scenes, investments grow. Equity builds. Options multiply. Wealth grows silently. That's why outsiders never notice. Part 9, the role of boring jobs. Flashy jobs don't create most wealth. Boring ones do. Why? Because boring jobs offer stability, predictability, low stress, consistent income. This consistency feeds investing. Doctors, teachers, engineers, clerks, civil servants, these professions quietly create wealth machines. Not because they pay huge salaries, but because they allow long-term planning. Part 10, the psychology of not showing off. Accidental rich people rarely show wealth. Not because they can't, because they don't need to. They don't seek validation through spending, they seek peace. They understand every luxury delays freedom. So they delay luxury. Freedom comes first. Part 11, debt, the line they refuse to cross. One major difference. They avoid bad debt. They may use home loans, productive leverage, but they avoid consumer debt, status purchases, emotional spending. Debt steals future time. They protect time fiercely. Part 12, compounding takes over. At some point, effort becomes irrelevant. Money grows faster than savings, returns beat income increases. This is when wealth accelerates. Years of boredom suddenly pay off. Most people never reach this phase because they quit too early. Part 13, why others call it accidental. Outsiders say they were lucky, they had advantages, they just saved more. But the truth is simpler and harder. They were consistent when others were distracted. They stayed calm when others panicked. They didn't interrupt compounding. Part 14, the moment of realization. One day, a simple calculation changes everything. They add up assets, investments, property, cash, and realize, I don't need this job anymore. That's power. Not quitting but knowing you could. Part 15, why they keep working in. Here's the twist. Most don't quit. They continue working. On their terms. With less fear. With more confidence. Work becomes optional, not mandatory. That's real freedom. Part 16, the myth of fast wealth. Fast wealth stories dominate the internet. But slow wealth dominates reality. Fast wealth is loud, slow wealth is permanent. Accidental rich people choose permanence. Part 17, what school never explained. School taught obedience, performance, compliance. It never taught ownership, leverage, time value, emotional discipline. These lessons are learned late or not at all. Part 18, how any normal person can follow this path. You don't need brilliance. You need control spending, save consistently, invest patiently, avoid bad debt, think long-term. That's it. Simple. Not easy. Part 19, why most people still won't do it. Because it's boring, because it's slow, because it doesn't impress anyone. But boredom is the price of freedom. Part 20, the final shift, from paycheck to power. A paycheck feeds survival. Assets create power. Power is choice, time, calm, control. And most people who reach it never meant to. They just didn't quit. Closing the quiet path. The path from paycheck to power isn't hidden. It's ignored. Because it doesn't promise excitement, only results. And in the end, the most powerful people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who don't need permission anymore. The 30-year wealth plan that turned everyday workers into millionaires. How ordinary people with ordinary jobs quietly built extraordinary wealth over 3 decades. This is written in a slow-burn, storytelling plus educational tone, perfect for YouTube long videos, documentaries, audiobooks, or narration. Introduction: the plan that nobody talks about. When people hear the word millionaire, they imagine speed. Fast money. Big risks. Huge salaries. Lucky breaks. But the truth is uncomfortable. Most millionaires were built slowly. Painfully slowly. So slowly that no one noticed. No viral moment. No dramatic success story. No overnight transformation. Just a 30-year plan that almost anyone could follow, but almost no one does. This is the story of that plan. Not the exciting version. The real one. Part 1: Why 30 years sounds impossible. Tell someone it will take 30 years to become wealthy, and they immediately lose interest. Because the modern world teaches speed is success. Slow means failure. Patience is weakness. But wealth doesn't obey modern thinking. Wealth obeys time, discipline, compounding, emotional control. The people who win aren't smarter. They're just willing to wait. Part 2: Who this plan was built for. This plan wasn't designed for entrepreneurs chasing unicorns, influencers selling courses, high-risk speculators. It was built for teachers, clerks, engineers, nurses, factory workers, government employees, office staff, people with stable income, average intelligence, ordinary lives. People who didn't want luxury, they wanted security and freedom. Part 3: Year 125, the foundation phase. The first rule: control comes before growth. The first 5 years are boring. No visible success. No excitement. No praise. This phase is about control. People following the 30-year plan learn 3 habits. They track money, every expense is known, nothing is accidental. They live below their income, not poor, intentional. They create surplus, even a small one. Surplus is power, without surplus nothing else works. Part 4: Why most people fail in the first 5 years. Most people quit early because progress feels invisible. Friends seem ahead. Social pressure increases. Motivation fades. This is where discipline replaces motivation. The winners aren't inspired, they're consistent. Part 5: Year 6 to 10, the saving identity. By now something changes internally. Saving is no longer an action, it's an identity. These people don't ask, should I save? They ask, how much can I save? They automate savings, investments, bills. Automation removes emotion. Emotion is the enemy of wealth. Part 6: The first investments, small and boring. Contrary to popular belief, most people don't start investing with confidence. They start with fear. They invest small amounts in simple instruments with long horizons. They don't chase trends, they don't trade daily, they don't panic. They let time do the work. Part 7: Year 11 to 15, the silent shift. Around the 10-15 year mark, something strange happens. Money begins to grow faster than effort. Returns feel noticeable, balances increase, confidence rises. But externally, life looks the same. Same job, same routine, same lifestyle. This is why nobody notices. Part 8: Why they don't upgrade their life yet. This is a critical decision point. Most people increase spending when income rises. 30-year planners do the opposite. They keep lifestyle stable, they increase investments. This decision alone creates a massive gap over time. Part 9: Real estate enters the story. For many everyday workers, real estate becomes the turning point. Not luxury properties, not speculation. Simple decisions. One modest home. One rental. Long-term holding. Rent pays debt, debt builds equity, equity builds wealth. Slowly, safely, predictably. Part 10, Year 16 to 20, Compounding TAKES Control. This is where compounding becomes undeniable. Money earns more money than salary increases. At this stage, fear decreases. Patience increases. Confidence stabilizes. They stop asking, will this work? They start asking, how far can this go? Part 11, Why they still feel normal. Even after 20 years, most don't feel rich. Why? Because they didn't inflate lifestyle. They didn't show off. They didn't change identity. Wealth grew quietly, ego stayed small. This is why they succeeded. Part 12, Year 21 to 25, Power without noise. At this stage, something powerful emerges. Options. They can change jobs, reduce hours, say no to bad bosses, handle emergencies calmly. This is real wealth. Not spending power, decision power. Part 13, Why they never panic during CRASHES. Markets crash, economies shake, others panic. 30-year planners don't. Why? Because they've seen cycles before. They plan for volatility. They think in decades. They buy when others sell, they stay calm when others scream. Part 14, Year 26 to 30, The Millionaire Realization. Somewhere between year 26 and 30, a quiet moment arrives. A calculation, a spreadsheet, a simple realization. Net worth crosses 7 figures. No celebration, no announcement, no lifestyle explosion. Just silence. Part 15, Why most never quit work. Here's the surprise. Most don't quit their jobs immediately. Why? Because work now feels different. It's optional, it's lighter, it's on their terms. Freedom changes everything. Part 16, Why this plan works so often. The 30-year wealth plan works because it avoids ego, greed, speed, shortcuts. It embraces time, discipline, boredom, patience. It doesn't fight human nature, it works around it. Part 17, Why schools never taught this. Schools focus on short timelines, grades, performance, obedience. Wealth requires long timelines, delayed reward, emotional mastery. The systems don't align. Part 18, The biggest enemy, comparison. Comparison destroys long-term plans. Others look richer, others seem faster, others show more. But comparison ignores debt, risk, fragility. The 30-year planner compares only with yesterday. Part 19, Can anyone follow this plan? Not everyone will. But almost anyone can. It doesn't require high IQ, perfect timing, special talent. It requires consistency, self-control, long vision. That's rare but available. Part 20, The final truth about wealth. The greatest lie about wealth is that it's complicated. It's not. It's just uncomfortable. Because it demands waiting, ignoring noise, saying no, staying boring. And boring people quietly win. Closing the path most people ignore. The 30-year wealth plan isn't hidden. It's ignored. Because it doesn't excite, it doesn't impress, it doesn't sell dreams. It sells reality. And reality, over time, turns everyday workers into millionaires.